Good evening to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Before we go to the editorial analysis, I would like to start the session with a nice quote. What is today's quote? It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. Quite often we experience the darkest moments. That is a time we must focus to see the light, a ray of hope. Then we can come out of that problem, whatever the problem is. Am I audible? I want one of you to respond. Am I audible? And today's editorial is all about air safety, an important article, an important editorial. And there are a lot of words you can learn from this editorial. Shall we go to editorial vocabulary? No one has responded. Am I audible? Good evening. Good evening. Thank you very much. There are some important words. Let us see what the words are. The first one, paramount, part of speech, adjective. It's an important word. Paramount means what? More important than anything else. Supreme. So am I. Supreme. And it's an important word. Paramount, an important word. Goes with effective English. Entourage. This is also an important word. Noun, a group of people attending or surrounding an important person or a VIP. Usually, when you come across a VIP, very important person, you see a lot of people surrounding that person. That is known as entourage. Alleged, we have got many a time. Allege is a verb and allegation, noun form. Alleged, what does it mean? Claim or assert that someone has done something illegal or wrong, typically without proof. You can also think of the word accusation, accuse, allege, allegation, accusation. Tail scraping is a new word we have got for the first time. And you don't, when you Google, you don't come across this word. That's a bit surprising. But based on the context, it means violating. Tail scraping, based on the context, what does it mean? Violating. And the part of speech, adjective. Norms we have got many a time. Noun, something that is usual, typical, or standard. The norms of something. We have got many a time. Ablaze, another important word, though we have got once or twice, it looks familiar. Part of speech, adjective. It takes a verb set ablaze, means what? To burn fiercely or burning fiercely. Stalker, another important word, part of speech, noun, a person who harasses or persecutes someone with unwanted and obsessive attention. Stalk someone, stalker, means what? The person follows someone and tries to harass. Then we use that word. It has a negative connotation. Coerce, we have got many a time, part of speech verb. What does it mean? Persuade to do something by using force. The key word over here, force or threats. You force someone, then I'm fine, thank you very much. Then coerce, an important word, we have got many a time. Exempt, exempted. Exempt could be a verb, it could be an adjective. What does it mean? Free from an obligation or liability imposed on others. Free from obligation or liability. Exempted. Usually we use in that form. Endanger, an important word we have got many a time. And usually what happens here, because exam is fast approaching, I'm sure you guys know yesterday SBI notification, junior assistant, and this is the right time you have to be smart learners. When you try to learn something, try to be smart and try to recollect all the related information. Endanger, part of speech verb, put someone or something at risk or in danger. Here you got the word endanger, then you should not stop there. You have to think of related words like endangered and also extinct, then species, genus, flora, fauna. All the words you have to recollect. That way you can consolidate your knowledge. Bizarre is adjective form, bizarrely adverb. In a very strange or unusual manner. Someone behaves in a strange manner, then we say it is bizarre, bizarrely adverb. Sedition, we have got many a time, it goes with polity. Conduct or speech inciting people. Incite means provoke to rebel against authority of a state or monarch. So against the government, then there's a case of sedition. Concur, an important word, part of speech verb. Be of the same opinion or agree. Just remember the word agree. Clutter, cover or fill with an untidy collection of things. And usually it goes with everyday English. We say, what is that clutter? Remove the clutter. Elaborate, part of speech verb, to expand something in detail. When someone says something you don't understand, then you say, could you please elaborate? So, avian, an important word, I'm sure you guys know, and it's a noun, I'm sorry. It's an adjective. Avian means what? Relating to birds. And here you have to recollect study of birds. What is the word? Ornithology. Ornithology means study of birds. And the place where the birds are kept, specific birds are kept, we use the word aviary. All the related words you have to recollect. Twilight, an important word. I think we have got for the first time. Twilight, the period just before it becomes completely dark in the evening, or a period of state of obscurity, ambiguity, or gradual decline. But in this context, twilight means a period just before it becomes completely dark in the evening. Here you have to recollect two words. One is dawn, the other is dusk. DAWN, dawn means what? The time before the sunrise, and dusk, the time after the sunset. These two words are also very important. And I'm sure we got this word many a time. What is this word? Stringent. It goes with rules, regulations, requirements, or conditions. Stringent rules means strict, precise, and exacting. But generally, when we say stringent, we mean strict rules. Probe we have got recently. Part of speech verb, what does it mean? A thorough investigation into a crime or other matter. Probe, probing nature. Last time I gave that expression. So those are the words from today's editorial. Now let us go to the editorial analysis and see what is there to learn, not only from grammar point of view, but also from comprehension point of view and vocabulary point of view. It starts with no compromise. You cannot make out what exactly it means. But generally, conversation English we say regarding something, no compromise. I'm sure you can understand general meaning. When you read the next sentence, you get the idea what it is about. Air safety is paramount, and politicians should not be allowed to pressure ATC officials. Two aspects. One, air safety is paramount. Paramount means what? Supreme, utmost importance given to something, more important than anything else. We use the word paramount. The first dimension, air safety is paramount. The second dimension, and politicians should not be allowed to pressure ATC officials. Here, there are two clauses. Air safety is paramount. Clause 1, it is in present, it's a fact. And politicians should not be allowed. There is one helping verb. We should allow someone or something, active voice. We should not allow negative. If you change it to passive voice, they should not be allowed. Then you have to recollect here it is passive voice, should not be allowed to pressure ATC officials. Easy to make out. And this has been written on the basis of a particular incident that happened on August 31st. The incident on August 31st, wherein an important expression, two BJP members of parliament, Nishikant Dubey and Manoj Tiwari, and their entourage are alleged to have forcibly obtained takeoff clearance close to sunset from the Air Traffic Control ATC at Diogar Airport in Jharkhand for their flight is a case of tail scraping established air safety norms. A lengthy sentence, it's more like a paragraph, not one sentence from here to here. I always tell whenever you come across, not only here, when you come across in the exam also a lengthy sentence, you should not panic. You have to read the sentence once, twice to understand what exactly it means. And also, you should have the ability to differentiate what the make out what the subject is, what the verb is, what the object is. That is one thing. Besides, you should know how many phrases are there, how many clauses are there. If you can make out, then easy to comprehend, though it is a lengthy one. Here it talks about the incident. This is the main idea. This incident happened on August 31st. What is this incident? Wherein, this is an important word, two BJP members of parliament, Nishikant Dubey and Manoj Tiwari, and the entourage, an important word we have got for the first time. What does it mean? A group of people attending or surrounding an important person, especially a VIP, an MP, or a minister, are alleged. Alleged, another a word we have got so many times. Allege means what? To claim or assert that someone has done something illegal or wrong, typically without proof. Have you got it? So, alleged to have forcibly, what is the allegation against these two members of parliament? Allegation or accusation, they have forcibly obtained takeoff clearance. They used force to get the takeoff clearance close to sunset. The timing very important from the air traffic control and which place at Diogar Airport in Jharkhand for their flight. And see the whole thing. It starts with the incident. Now, where is the verb that goes with the subject incident? The incident is a case of tail scraping established air safety norms. It's so difficult to comprehend, but if you read twice or thrice, you can easily make out. And there's one particular word over here, tail scraping. If you Google, you don't get this word, you don't get the meaning, obviously. When you don't get the word, you don't get the meaning. Based on the context, what does it mean? Tail scraping. It means violating established air safety norms. They violated by forcing the air traffic control officials, they violated air safety norms. Norms, another important word, something that is usual, typical, or standard. Have you got the meaning of this sentence, the lengthy sentence? In a nutshell, it is all about two MPs forcing the airport officials and getting the permission for takeoff at a particular time, and the time is very important, and it is nothing but violating the norms of air traffic control and the rules that go with that. The politicians, they were in the state to meet the family members. This is something very important. Regular classes, we tell students family members wrong. And here, this is from the Hindu, that to the editorial. Then you may wonder, sir, you may ask me, sir, you have said many a time, family members not correct, but here, family members. What are we supposed to say? Members of family. Then how come they have used family members in the editorial, that to the Hindu paper? Please, all of you should remember languages are dynamic, they keep changing. And there's something called modern English or current English. This goes with modern English or current English, family members. But exam point of view, I would like to categorically state, exam point of view, we don't consider three things. One, we don't consider conversational English. Two, we don't consider American English. Three, we don't consider modern or current English. So in the exam, if at all you come across the expression family members, do remember it is not correct. I hope it's clear. Coming to the sentence, the politicians, they were in the state to meet the family members of a minor girl in Damka who had been set ablaze by a stalker on August 23rd, are reported to have reached the airport at around 5:25 p.m. to fly back to Delhi on a chartered twin-engine business jet. This talks about why they were at a particular place and why they want. That's very good. why they wanted to go back to Delhi. It talks about the politicians, the two politicians, MPs. They were in the state to meet the family members or members of family of a minor girl in Damka who had been set ablaze. Here again, they had set ablaze someone, active voice. Someone had been set ablaze. This is in past perfect tense, passive voice. And there's one important expression, set ablaze, means what? Burn someone or something fiercely, to burn someone by a stalker. Again, an important noun, though it has a negative connotation, means what? A person who harasses or troubles or persecutes someone with unwanted and obsessive attention, like following that person or trying to trouble that person all the time. Then we use stalker. On August 23rd, are reported to have reached the airport. These politicians reached the airport to have reached, another important expression, the airport at around 5:25 p.m. Why did they reach the airport? The purpose to meet the members of family of a particular girl who had been set ablaze, and they wanted to fly back to Delhi on a chartered twin-engine business jet. Based on complaints by the airport security in charge and the deputy commissioner of Diogar, the allegation is that the ATC was coerced into allowing the flight to depart, resulting in the Jharkhand police registering an FIR against the MPs and the others. What is the problem here? There is one important word. Based on this, you can understand. Coerce means what? Use force. Persuade to do something by using force or threats. Based on complaints by the airport security in charge and the deputy commissioner of Diogar, the allegation, there's a complaint and obviously there's an allegation. What is the allegation? The allegation is that the ATC was forced, again, passive voice. Here, this editorial, a lot of sentences are in passive voice. They forced ATC officials, active voice, past tense. ATC officials were forced, or ATC was forced or coerced, past tense, passive voice. And coerced means to use threat or force, into allowing the flight to depart, resulting in the Jharkhand police registering an FIR. Another important expression. Usually, what happens school level when it comes to articles, a standard or a fixed idea. What is it? If a particular word begins with a consonantal letter, we have to use a. If a particular word begins with a vowel letter, we have to use an. But that is incomplete. What is complete concept or definition? If a particular word begins with a vowel letter or a vowel sound, we have to use an. Here the letter is a consonantal letter, but when you pronounce, how do you pronounce F? It has a vowel sound. Based on that, we have to use an FIR. This has been given many a time in different competitive exams. Against the MPs, again MP, the first letter is a consonantal letter, but we say an MP. What is the reason? We pronounce M. It begins with a vowel sound. Based on that, we have to say an MP. Even this you have to recollect. So there's a case of they filed complaints, allegation, filed a case, obviously. Various sections of the Indian Penal Code, such as endangering life or personal safety, have been applied. A case has been filed, and based on what? Different sections, various sections of the Indian Penal Code, such as endangering life. There's another important word over here, endanger. Endanger means to threaten, to put someone in danger. Endangering life or personal safety have been applied. Even this one is in passive voice, present perfect. They have applied a few sections, active voice. A few sections have been applied, passive voice, present perfect. Mr. Dubey, in turn, filed an FIR in Delhi against the deputy commissioner and the Jharkhand police, which includes, bizarrely, they being booked under section 124A sedition. So it is like the police filed a case against them, they filed a case against the officials. This sentence talks about that. Mr. Dubey, in turn, an important phrase, filed an FIR in Delhi against the deputy commissioner and the Jharkhand police, which includes bizarrely. Here, bizarre means what? Strange, unusual, not normal. And the part of speech is adverb. Generally, we use it as an adjective. Bizarrely, they're being booked under Section 124A sedition. Another important word, sedition. Sedition means what? Conduct or speech inciting people. Incite means to provoke, to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. It is at this point air safety experts concur. Another important word means what? Agree. It is at this point air safety experts concur that the clutter means unwanted stuff, must be swept aside and the core issue of flight safety brought firmly into focus. So at this stage, the experts agreed or the experts felt we should or they should keep the clutter aside and they have to focus on the problem. What is the problem here? Flight safety. Dioger, according to data available, data again an important word. What is that word? Please listen to the analysis. You can ask the personal questions later. I appreciate your concern. Data, datum singular, data plural. But data can also be a collective noun. When we use data as a collective noun, we have to use a singular verb. That you have to recollect. Dioger, according to data available in the Aeronautical Information publication, is still a visual flight rules VFR airport and night operations are not permitted. This airport, night operations are not permitted. Further, this again an important word. You should not get confused between further and farther. What is the difference? FARTHER that goes with distance, refers to distance, and further means in addition to. And they have given many a time questions based on these two words. Further, point 3 under en route 1.2 visual flight rules states that VFR flight shall not be operated between 20 minutes after sunset to 20 minutes before sunrise, except when exempted by air traffic control for local flights. The sentence talks about the rules and regulations related to allowing the flights after a particular time or before a particular time. Based on the rules state that VFR flight shall not be operated. Another sentence in passive voice. We shall not operate, something shall not be operated between 20 minutes after sunset to 20 minutes before sunrise. And this is a time we use two terms. One is dawn, the other one is dusk. For dusk, we also use the word twilight, except when exempted. Exemption, exempted, an important word, free from an obligation or liability imposed on others, exempted by air traffic control for local flights. The principle being that the airfield should be available in the event of an emergency after takeoff under VFR conditions. Again, it talks about the rules and regulations. It must be noted that sunset at Dioger was at 6:03 p.m. and the flight left at 6:17 p.m. That means after the sunset, against the rules. The difficulties the crew could have faced at such an airport in the event of an emergency, such as a bird hit or engine failure, do not have to be elaborated. Avian life is active at twilight, and Jharkhand is known to be a bird rich spot. Again, a lengthy sentence, and what does it talk about? The flight left, the sunset was at 6:03 p.m. and the flight left at 6:17 p.m. That means after the sunset, the twilight zone. Obviously, it must have been a problem. The difficulties the crew could have faced, it talks about a past possibility. at such an airport in the event of an emergency. And what is that emergency? Such as a bird hit or engine failure, do not have to be elaborated. We don't have to elaborate. It goes without saying. Elaborate means what? To explain or expand something in detail. Avian life is active at twilight. There are two words. Avian life. Avian means relating to birds. Avian life is active at twilight. Twilight, an important word. The period just before it becomes completely dark in the evening. Usually after sunset, to some extent, it is bright enough. But after some time, it becomes pitch dark, completely dark. That is known as, that transition zone is known as twilight. And Jharkhand is known to be a bird rich spot. A lot of birds, then risky. Other airports in the region available for a diversion are not close either, and they could not depend on other airports nearby. Additionally, to have one of the politicians who is part of a committee constituted by the Ministry of Civil Aviation attempting to push the boundaries of safety is unacceptable. This is something strange. In this context, additionally, to have one of the politicians who is part of a committee constituted by the Ministry of Civil Aviation, he is the member of the committee. Unfortunately or fortunately, that's a different thing. But he attempted to push the boundaries of safety. Attempting to push the boundaries of safety is unacceptable. Committee member trying to push the boundaries of safety is unacceptable, obviously. How does the editorial end? The episode also highlights the pressures faced by air traffic controllers and officials, especially in small airports in India. Big airports, they cannot influence, they cannot use force. But, yes, that's right, the member himself breaking rules, not acceptable. But small airports, MPs, ministers, they can use force, power, authority. The episode also highlights the pressures faced by air traffic controllers and officials, especially in small airports in India. As a member of the International Civil Aviation Organization and bound by its stringent rules, India must ensure that directives are followed and that there is a thorough and fair probe with penalties by the Directorate General of Civil Aviation and the Ministry of Civil Aviation. So this sentence talks about the action to be taken. What is that? Based on what? As a member of the International Civil Aviation Organization and bound by its stringent rules, stringent means what? Very strict. India must ensure that directives are followed, the rules are followed, and that there is a thorough and fair probe. Means based on this incident, there is a thorough, in detail, and fair, just, correct probe investigation with penalties if required by the Directorate General of Civil Aviation and the Ministry of Civil Aviation. And the last sentence says the politics should be fenced off. Fence off means they should be kept aside. They should not be allowed to play a role. So, this is all about the editorial. I hope you got an idea about the editorial. Now, let us have a look at editorial comprehension based questions. What is this editorial about? I think mains, you have mains this month, next month. This is a time you have to start writing about the editorial in brief, and also you have to write answers for these questions. That will help in the long run when it comes to the descriptive paper. So do make it a habit at least now. There is a saying in English, what is it? Better late than never. And try to write answers, complete answers, not keywords. What is paramount in the context of the editorial? Based on the word paramount, you have to catch that word, locate, and navigate, locate, write the answer, you find the answer. What do not have to be elaborated? We don't have to elaborate something based on the context. What is that? You should be able to write. What does the episode highlight? The entire incident or event, the episode, highlights something. What does it highlight? Again, easy to answer based on the key words. What is unacceptable in the context of the editorial? There is one word, unacceptable. Based on that word, you can write the answer. Now let us go to enrich your word power based on editorial vocabulary. I want you guys to respond with very good. That's wonderful, Pritham. All of you, please respond. Tell the part of speech, tell the meaning. You have to choose, match. Paramount means what? Paramount. Exactly. That's right. Who is this GK? Paramount adjective and meaning more important than anything else. You can also think of the word supreme. Supreme. So answer is C. What is the second one? Entourage means noun. This is a noun. Group of people. Group means noun. Group of people attending or surrounding a VIP. Answer is F. Ablaze. This is also adjective. What does it mean? Burn fiercely. A is the answer. That's right. It could be a verb as well, but in the context, adjective. This is a noun, stalker. Noun means what? Person who harasses someone either by following or troubling that person continuously, being obsessive about that person. Answer is H. Coerce is a verb, obviously. Means what? Force. Persuade to do something by using force or threats. Answer is B. Exempt could be a verb, could be an adjective. Exempted. What does it mean? Free from an obligation. Answer is J. Free from an obligation. Endanger, verb. Endangered, adjective. Engender is different, and danger is different. Madhav, you are there. Endanger means what? Put at risk or in danger. Answer is D. Obviously, bizarrely, it has to be adverb because of ly, but generally we use it as an adjective. Bizarre means what? In a strange manner. Answer is I. Concur, part of speech verb, means what? Agree. Be of the same opinion or agree. G is the answer. Clutter, part of speech noun. What are you left with? Fill something with an untidy collection of things. Answer is E. That's all for today. And next session, I'm going to get practice questions based on exam topics. And before I wind up the session, tomorrow morning, from tomorrow morning, not in the evening, 7:30 to 8:30. Please make a note. Not in the evening, morning 7:30 to 8:30. That is a time slot every morning, the Hindu Editorial Analysis with practice questions based on exam topics. And this is a time you have to be thorough with 200 grammar rules and also error location tips. More topics, I will let you know. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Hope you guys have got enriched, and good night. Thank you.